Alright, what up folks, this is Rohan. I do email and SMS marketing for e-commerce brand, and I've been in this space for a couple of years now. And in this video, I'm going to explain how there are hidden verticals that are being overlooked in your e-commerce store, right? Especially by the ones that are doing your email marketing or your backend retention system, someone that is handling your retention system, right? And I'm not trying to diminish anyone that is in the space of email marketing agency or someone like that, but by the end of the video, you'll probably second guess the agency that is doing your emails. So let's get started with the video. The hidden verticals, where your store is quietly losing money every single day. There is money in your store right now that you are not catching. What I mean by this is an e-commerce store can have different verticals by which it can convert a customer that has landed in its product piece or that has landed in the site, right? And if those verticals are not completely optimized with the way the customers interact with your site, then you might be losing a lot of money and you might be losing that customer forever. That is what I mean by this, right? So not from new customers, not from more ad spends, from people who are already on your site, already interested, already raising their questions and quietly leaving because nothing is built to catch them. So now if you don't know what e-commerce store verticals are, this video is probably not for you and you're not the ICP of the video, but for the sake of it, I'm going to explain it anyway. So verticals are these aspects of the e-commerce store that helps convert a customer in not a typical way, I'd say, right? So the typical way would be a person sees the ad, they come into the site, they see the offer and they convert, right? That is the typical flow of a customer. But there can be other aspects like, let's say, reward programs. There can be certain thing that is set up like subscription or something like that is contributing in converting the customer that is in your site and is not converting right away, right? So that is what I mean by e-commerce verticals. And this is the stuff that separates a store doing $1,000 per month from a store that is doing 300K with the same traffic. And I don't mean spending more on ads. I don't mean spending more on testing out new creatives or stuff like that. With the same traffic, with the same traffic flow, you can be generating a lot more revenue in a store. And let me show you what I mean by that. So the real problem is your store has hidden verticals and they are where your next 30% of the revenue lives. Every e-commerce store has them. They are these specific moments where customers so real intent to buy, and if you don't have a system catching that moment, the intent disappears, right? So what I mean by this is, for example, I've already mentioned this, but loyalty programs, reward programs or stuff like that. And most brand owners don't even know the moments exist, right? They are looking at the top line revenue and ROAS, maybe some kind of email open rates that is just a vanity matrix at this point. And meanwhile, these little revenue pockets are leaking every single day. Here are the most common ones, the hidden verticals. Sold out product intent, what you are losing, hottest buyers. So what this means is when a customer, let's say for example, there is a shoe brand, right? I'm going to explain that later in the video as well. But let's say for example, there's a shoe brand and it has different kind of SKUs, right? Colors, sizes, and most importantly, the type of shoes, right? If a customer comes into the site and looks for a specific color, specific size, specific type of the shoe, then if the product is sold out, they'll see the status of the CTA or whatever there is that it's sold out, right? And if there's no follow-ups to it, if there are no proper system backing up the intent that is shown by the customer, then you're probably losing that customer forever because they'll never be coming back if they're not notified when the product will be dropping again, when the sizes will be available again, right? So you have to make sure that there are systems in place and there are proper follow-ups in place, right? Another example can be loyalty program. Like I said, this is probably the most important one, and this what you're losing is the repeat purchase revenue, the size variant stock, ready to buy customers, post purchase cross sell, second order revenue, and this and that, right? These are all the hidden verticals that can be in your store that you're not completely leveraging right now, and this is in return what you're losing by not completely putting the systems in place, right? So every row on the table is a system you could be running, and most stores are running 0 of them, right? So I'll explain how I got to this point where I'm making this video. Actually, this is a real live experience that I had with a store that we are working with currently, right? They came to us a couple of quarters back and they had systems in place, but like I said, email marketing agencies right now, they can be quite lazy about these verticals. They can basically overlook these kind of things, right? And I'm going to explain what those actually were. So a few months back, we started working with a premium women's footwear brand. Beautiful product, higher margin, right? So 200, 400, or even 700 for a pair. So very high ticket, right? On paper, everything looked fine. The revenue was growing. Email was doing about 20% of the total revenue, and that is the number most brands here and think we are good, right? But here's the harsh truth. Fine is the most expensive word in ecom. If you've been in the game for a long time, if you've experienced all of the things in ecom, then you probably know this already, but fine is the most expensive word in ecom. Fine is what you say when you have never seen what your store is actually capable of, right? So if you are okay with fine, if you are okay with whatever your store is doing right now and don't want more revenue added to it, then you should probably click out of this video and just basically run your store like you've been doing it, right? But if you want more revenue, if you want the store to not leak revenue out of these verticals, then you should probably continue watching this video. So before touching anything, I did what I do first. I opened the store like a customer, scrolled, clicked around, tried to buy something, right? And 20 minutes in, I found the leaks that were costing them thousands of dollars per month. And let's talk about the leak number one that was happening in the store, right? The first leak is sold out shoes were burning their hottest customer. Half of the most popular shoes were sold out of the stock in the most popular sizes, and on every one of those product pages there was a notify me button. Customers were clicking it, right? They were raising hands and saying, I want this exact shoe in this exact size and I'm willing to spend more than $300 the moment it comes back. And then nothing, boom, right? No follow-ups, no systems in place, nothing that is mentioning the customer that the shoe is available back in the store and it's available in the size that you wanted, right? Nothing was there. So when the stock came back, the brand just put it on the site and hope people noticed. By the time those customers drifted back, half of the stock was gone already to some random new visitors, which we in fact paid a lot of more money to get in our site, right? A customer clicking notify me is the warmest buyers on your site. So you have to understand this. They have picked the product, they have picked the size, they have decided the price is worth it, and the only thing blocking the sale is inventory, and you can't control that. Now, this portion right here, this leak right here might not be relevant for someone who's doing dropshipping because they have unlimited inventory. This is very important for a brand that has their own inventory and it is quite limited. So a normal marketing email has to convince strangers to want it, but this customer already wants it. You have to get that, right? You have to not lose them between now and when the stock returns. This is the easiest money in ecom, and most stores let it evaporate completely. Now let's talk about the system that we built in order to make sure that this thing was not leaking and this thing was properly systemized, right? So first one, catch the hand raise. Every notify me click blocks the exact shoe, the exact size, the exact color the customers want, right? Not a generic mailing list, a very specific thing. This person wants this thing kind of a mailing list. That is what we created for the brand, right? Second one is text them the second it is back. And here is where I emphasize on the importance of SMS when it comes to retention market, right? Inventory runs out, SMS fires within a minute. Email alone is too slow. By the time someone opens their inbox, the shoe could be gone again. So send them a text email instead of an email. Email will do the job just fine, but there is nothing better than SMS when it comes to customers that are just waiting on our notification, just waiting on for the exact product to come back, right? There is nothing better than SMS. It's better if you DM it, but you know how that works. The third is create a restock moment. For bigger restock, we ran a full campaign, not just a reminder, a moment. So people who missed out the first time actually shows up to buy this time, right? What I mean by this is we ran a full set of campaigns that notified the people in a series of couple of days that this particular stock right here is coming back and you need to get it the moment it comes back, or this is going to be sold out again. What this created is there is a higher perceived value when the customer goes into the site by looking at the campaigns, right? So number 4 is redirect their intent. We send them something similar, same vibe, same shoe, because they came to a store ready to spend money and we don't let them leave empty-handed, right? Them to checking out the products that are of similar vibe, and if they like it, they can just buy it. If not, they can just wait for the product to restock and they can buy it then, right? And like I said, I'm emphasizing on the importance of SMS marketing when it comes to retention marketing, because 3 minutes, that is how fast people open a text when it comes to this. Is just and this might be too long or this might be too short as well, but I'm going to say it again. 3 minutes is the time it takes for a person to open a text, right? So you get the importance of SMS marketing when it comes to restocks like this, right? For restock window, the gap is everything. A popular shoe can sell out in hours. SMS is the delivery mechanism that matches the urgency that we have. Let's move forward to the second leak. The second one is a quite interesting one. This was a full loyalty program no one knew existed, right? This one was almost like very painful to see. The brand had built an entire reward program, points, tiers, real perks, months of work, and they had put it on a single page in the footer that customer never visited. The welcome email didn't mention it, the campaigns didn't reference it, and the first time buyers had no idea they'd just become members, right? this is what it means, here is what you unlock next, right? This was practically costing them a lot of money in return, because loyalty programs, what they do is they bring back a lot of customers, right? And returning customer, when it comes to retention marketing, returning customers when it comes to e-commerce in general, are very important. The costly mistake: the program existed in theory, in practice it was invisible. Loyalty programs only create revenue when customers actually know they exist, understand the value, and get reminded at the right moment to use them, right? And I'm going to explain in this part of the video about how we were able to stop this, how we were able to, fully build out the proper system around it, so that everyone in their customer base knew what loyalty program is and what its perk were, right? Here is how we activated it. Introduce it early. The welcome flow, like I said, had no mention about the loyalty program that they had. And what we did is we added blocks in welcome email 2 or welcome email 3 that makes the program a real reason to stay subscribed, not just a throwaway line at the bottom, right? Number 2 is we told them what they earned. So post versus email, right after they bought the product, right? We mentioned that they have unlocked this, they have these amount of points in their pocket, and these are the next tiers that they can unlock after they purchase. So most brands never send this email, and it is the single biggest mistake that we found in this brand as well. So number 3, make it a theme, not a piece. Double points weekend, member theme access, monthly campaigns built around the program. Members should feel like members. These members in particular are very valuable to the brand, because what they see is what we have done through these members is we've practically gamified the process of buying into our brand, right? Whenever they buy a new shoe, whenever they make a purchase, they are getting into this tier system that makes them want to buy more and more. They makes them want to spend more and more with our brand, and that, how important that can be for an e-commerce brand. How important returning customers can be for a brand, right? Number 4 is win back with points and not discounts. Lapsed customers, they see you have 400 points waiting instead of 15% off. Reminding someone of something that they have already earned, it's a different part of the brain than a discount. This is a very smart trick that we pulled off, and this is used across all of the email marketing. This is quite common, but if it sounds new to you, then congratulations, you've learned something today. So the bigger lesson here is you need to stop asking what emails should we send and start asking where the leak is, right? This is the mental shift that separates the brand compounding right now from the brands that are plateauing at a certain revenue point, right? So the leak always comes first and the channel comes second, right? So these are the wrong questions that you should be asking when it comes to brands that are doing 50K plus revenue in their store, right? If you're doing less than 50K, then you should probably not be asking these questions or these questions at all. But if you're doing more than 50K, then you should definitely not be asking these wrong questions, and you should be asking these right questions. So let's look into it. So you should not be asking what should we send this week, right? You should not be asking should we send an SMS. You should not be asking how do we raise open rates, what is our email revenue, how can we send more campaigns. These are all the wrong questions, right? So the right question would be, where's the leak? Which leak do we plug first? What system catches the leak? How much is its leak worth? What is the next leak? So these are the right questions that you should be asking. And once you know the leak, the channel is pretty obvious. Customers waiting on the stock, you just text them. Emailing, explaining a loyalty program, you just email them. Create a moment around a restock, you run a campaign. You run a series of campaigns, right? The channel is the tool. The leak is the main thing you should be focusing on. Now I went ahead and created this very simple audit that you can do right away on your site. If you are a brand, right, you open your site, you pretend that you've never seen it before, go through it like a customer would, then ask these questions honestly. If every yes, so ask yourself this: do products go out of stock? If yes, then you're losing your warmest buyers, right? Then you are probably losing a lot of repeat purchases. If you have customers that want different shoes or different colors, then you're losing every sold out variance. So these are just some questions that you can ask, and if yes, you're losing these all things in your store. And these are all very important things that might be separating you, like I said, from a 100K brand or a 50K brand to brands that are doing more than 300K, 400K per month, right? You have 3 or more systems you could be running, and you are probably not, right? Now, this is going to hit harder than ever, because 5 years ago you could lose money on the first sale and make it back on the second. Meta ads were cheap, acquisition was easy, and the math worked. If you've been in the game for long enough, then you know what I'm talking about, right? Meta ads, they're not expendables right now. They are not to be tested with right now. They are not to be poured money with poured money on right now. You could be losing a lot of money when it comes to acquisition as of now, and that is game over for most of the brands that I see, right? CPMs are up, iOS still messes with tracking and everything like that, and every D2C brand that I talk with is saying the same thing, which is the second purchase is where the business actually lives. You could be making a lot of revenue, right? You could be making a lot of money on the site itself, but you could be losing a lot of money on the acquisition part as well. So if you are able to get a second purchase in, that is basically a free money that is coming in. Because if you look at the cost between Facebook ads and email marketing or emails in general, then there is a difference. You already paid to acquire. You do not have a business, you have a treadmill. You run, you burn ads and start over. This is basically a treadmill that you're running, which is never ending at this point, right? So hidden verticals are how you step off the treadmill. Every restock that you catch is a customer who buys twice instead of once, right? Every loyalty member who comes back is pure margin at this point. So brands that are winning right now are not running better ads, they are plugging better leaks. This is the part which matters the most. This is the part where I ask you the most important question: what is leaking in my store right now that nobody is catching? I guarantee you this: if you go ahead and ask this same question to whoever is doing your email marketing right now, and if they can't answer this question in a proper way, then they are not the right partners for you, right? You need to keep the money that you actually deserve, right? So this was the entire video. If you've learned something from it, then make sure you let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more contents like this from my site, then you can always reach out to me via my email or my socials that will be linked in the description as well. All right, see you. Peace.